Hey everybody, this is GGB co-host Peppers. We're going to be talking about the Ravens-Redskins game, and it's a little bit more difficult now that they've announced who's going to make the rosters, because I had some players that won this game and then didn't end up making the roster, which I found extremely confusing. Like the Redskins, most confusing at all. I'll get that in a few minutes, but let's get to some winners right here. Tyler Huntley is the biggest winner of the night, in my personal opinion, because in hindsight, Tyler Huntley, like, Trace McSorley couldn't start because he had a back injury, right? Tyler Huntley got to play most of the game since Lamar Jackson, went out after, the first or second drive because they didn't want him to get hurt, right? They just wanted him to get up to speed. So Tyler Huntley came in, and he went 24-33, threw for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns, right? So, he ended up winning this backup job away from Trace McSorley, which sucks for Trace McSorley. I'll have him as a loser on later in the list, but good for Tyler Huntley. Went undrafted, I believe, out of Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. I'm out of Utah. Goddamn, I'm mistaken. But he looked good, and this is what ended up sealing this backup job for him, was this game. So, great game for him. Big winner in this one. Another winner we have to go is with the Baltimore side of things, Tyson Williams. Now, Tyson Williams was a running back that came in after J.K. Dobbins got hurt and Gus Edwards left the game. And he ended up making this roster as the number 3 running back. And Justice Hill did not play in the preseason. He was set to be about the number 3 back before the injury to J.K. Dobbins. Now, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, I expect to have about a split backfield. But Tyson Williams was a guy that not many people was expecting to make this roster, and Tyson Williams kind of snuck onto it. It's his first season. He was undrafted player out of BYU last year. Tyson Williams just snuck onto this roster in large part because he outperformed Nate McCrary. Nate McCrary went 22 carries for 68 yards, averaged 3.1 yards per carry. Still a pretty decent day on the ground, but Tyson Williams only had 4 carries and had 42 yards, averaged 10.5 yards per carry, ended up having a 22-yard carry, so yeah, he had a better day. So big win if you are Nate McCrary. Tyson Williams. Big loss if you're Nate McCrary. A win. Okay, I'm gonna include a couple winners on this list. Now I'm gonna have Benjamin Victor as a winner, despite him not making the roster, but he still had 5 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. I still think he had a winning game. Fortunately for him, he didn't end up making this roster. He's probably going to land on the practice squad, probably. And he might be picked up by someone else. Who knows? So, big winner in my eyes. He actually made a case for someone else to pick him up onto the roster. So, and maybe he can be more effective if there's some injuries in the wide receiver core, which there could be for Baltimore, with Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, and Miles Boykin all deemed questionable to start the year. And I doubt Rashad Bateman plays week 1. And then another winner I have is James Prochet. James Prochet was a 6th-round pick out of SMU last year. I know because I actually met this guy in person at the Senior Bowl, and he was one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. Literally top 3 of nicest people I've ever met at the Senior Bowl. James Prochet is legitimately one of the nicest dudes. I have his signature on one of my footballs in the background if you guys watch the next video coming up. I love me some James Prochet, so I was really happy to see him do well. Ended up having 4 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. I was worried about him making the roster. He ended up making it as the 7th receiver, so don't tell me this game did not help the fact that he made it. He was right on that bubble. Keeping 7 receivers almost never happens. And this is just a very deep receiving corps for the Baltimore Ravens. You got Hollywood Brown, Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, the 1st-round pick, Devin Duvernay, a guy I really like out of Texas last year. Miles Boykin, a guy I'm not so high on. Tylen Wallace, an Oklahoma State player I really liked coming out of college. And James Prochet, a guy I love in person. So, a lot of people I like on this roster. I think they have a very deep receiving core this year. And I'll mention one more tight end for this team. And that's going to be, I'm going to mention a tight end for this team. It's Josh Oliver. Josh Oliver was a draft pick by Jacksonville, I believe, out of San Jose State. I think 4th round. I'm not positive. I'll double-check 3rd round. So, again, in 2019, the Jacksonville Jaguars drafted this guy in the 3rd round. He didn't stick in Jacksonville, so he's come to Baltimore, right? And Baltimore kind of has a hole open after tight end, too, with Nick Boyle. So, Josh Oliver comes in. He ends up playing pretty well in the preseason. This game, he only ended up having 2 catches for 19 yards, but he looked good. I was really impressed with Josh Oliver, and I'm glad that he's able to make a roster somewhere else. I would have had Antonio Gandy Golden as a winner, if I'm going to be honest. He had 4 catches, 39 yards. He looked really good on the day. But then they cut it. The Redskins, in my opinion, the most surprising cut outside of Jimmy Moreland. The Redskins had a lot of surprising cuts, in my opinion. It was AGG, and so I was going to have him as a winner for this game. He led the team in both receptions, targets, and receiving yards. So, yeah, I thought he would be on the team. He did not end up making this team, which I find really interesting considering they have DeAndre Carter on the team, which he is not very good in my opinion. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll have a winner on the defensive side of things just simply because I think he did end up playing his way onto the roster, and that's David Bada. David Bada, if you don't know, is an international player. I don't remember where he's from exactly. David Bada is from Germany. It's his second season in the NFL. But he ended up playing his way onto the roster. He is right now in the Washington depth chart listed as the 5th defensive tackle, which, I mean, it's the best you can do considering that they have at defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Matt Ioannidis, and Tim Settle. One of the deepest defensive tackle spots in the entire league, in my opinion. So, interesting there. I think it's really kind of cool for this team to have such a deep defensive tackle. But David Bada definitely played his way onto the roster. And 4 total tackles, 3 solo tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 quarterback hit. So, very good day, and what's ended up him making the roster. Let's go to some losers on the day. Some losers. Right off the bat, Steven Montez did not have a good enough day, and that's disappointing for him. He really wants to... The hope for Steven Montez... I saw a lot of people in the comment section of a Washington football team post that was like, dang, you cut Steven Montez? He's better than Kyle Allen. He is not better than Kyle Allen. Watch Steven Montez's film. Watch Kyle Allen's film. Kyle Allen is so much better than Steven Montez. Kyle Allen is a starter on some teams, in my opinion. If he goes to the Colts, he's better than Eason. Kyle Allen's a good player, guys, and people are just disrespecting my guy, Kyle. He didn't have a good day, 10 to 22 for 100 yards, but again, he's playing with his top receiver, didn't make the roster. Dax Milne was their second most productive receiver, and he's set up to be the 7th best receiver on this football team. So, again, my opinion, not working with the best receiving threats. So, did the best there, but Steven Montez went 5 of 10, 28 yards. The thing that Steven Montez does well is run. He only had 3 carries for 8 yards. So, I mean, did not have a good day. Definitely did not make the case to be on the roster. Now, the other player, which was a surprise cut to me, not all too surprising, though, was Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber had 4 carries for 12 yards. Not making a huge impact in trying to make this team, Peyton Barber, and ended up costing him. He ended up not making the team. I don't know if he's going to clear waiver wires, but he could end up being on the practice squad for the Washington football team, but definitely not a winner in this game. And now I'll include another loser. Other side of things, I'll include 2. J.K. Dobbins, obviously with the injury, he was set to have a breakout year this year in his second NFL season. Instead, he's going to miss the entire NFL season. The Ravens' run game will inevitably suffer. I mean, Gus the Bus is the only running back on the team that's worth really anything. Justice Hill has not proven his worth. But, yeah, that injury really hurts if you are the Ravens. And then I'll have another loser is Ben Mason. Ben Mason, I believe, 5th-round fullback this year out of Michigan. Double check, yeah, 5th-round fullback. I knew he was a fullback. I just didn't know if the 5th round was correct. He only ended up having 5 carries for 13 yards. And that's just not going to be enough to unseat Patrick Burkhardt, who is an insanely good fullback. Sorry, dude. Good try. But a cigar. That's really all I can say. Another loser. I'll include AGG on both the winners and losers list because he unfortunately did not make the roster. And then David Mayo. David Mayo is a free agent signing who I thought was going to end up making this team. Fortunately, did not do enough and ended up not making the team and then only keeping 4 linebackers, which I thought was unheard of. But did happen. And another loser, I'll have Jake Verity. Jake Verity was a guy, well, he was working on an impossible battle trying to unseat Justin Tucker, but did not help himself by missing the long field goal and going 1-2. So, yeah, not helpful. Not helping yourself there, dude. But outside of that, I think it was a decent game by the Ravens. Not a very good game by the Washington football team, but I enjoyed watching the Ravens because I really do think they have a good team built together this year. But hey, everybody, GGB Coles Peppers. Stay tuned for an episode. The video is coming out soon. Some college football content's coming out. But hey, everybody, this is GGB Coles Peppers saying adios amigos.